Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Tonight, I'm going to share my interview with my pal Stephen Buonocore from Stronghold Games that I recorded earlier this afternoon. So come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. I am the founder and editor-in-chief. So tonight is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020. This is episode 475 of The Daily Dope. So I do want to point out, if this is your first time visiting, this is very, very casual. It is a live stream. It is certainly not rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. Normally what I do is I actually bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news, and sometimes some other pop culture items as well. But with the pandemic being what it is, we don't have a lot of gaming news every day. And of course, with the distributors and distribution centers pretty much shut down, we're not having a lot of news games show up anyway. So because of that, I have been sharing some reviews, some unboxings, some first looks, page throughs, doing some live playthroughs as well. And tonight I am going to share with you first interview that I have done during the COVID-19 pandemic. And of course, first up is my good pal, Stephen Buonocore from Stronghold Games. I'm going to get to that in just a couple of moments. I do want to point out, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only notify you of when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights, it'll also tell you when I upload standalone videos as well, such as my live playthrough of Call of Cthulhu The Haunting, Part 1. Yes, I finally finished that video. Boy, that was a bear. And it has been uploaded to YouTube. It is still private, simply because it is still rendering, so it is in standard definition right now. So I have to wait until it finishes rendering on YouTube. Then I will definitely share the link, and I'll put a post up, things like that. Keep in mind, don't get too excited. The first time I had actually used Fantasy Grounds, and it was the first time I was actually remotely running a role-playing game, so it was very, very different. But we had fun, so I thought, yeah, you know, why not share it? So anyway, also do want to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And of course, because this is a live stream, there is chat available on YouTube. It's not on screen. One of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to the chat. So if you like to say hello, or maybe you've got a question, maybe a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Tonight should be fairly easy because I'm sharing a recording of an interview, so I'll be kicking back, just kind of hanging around. So I guess it'd be pretty hard for me to miss anything popping up in chat at that point in time. So far we've got the Madman, Kabuki Kid, and Flaming Huron are saying howdy in chat. Thank you for joining me tonight. We want to wish everybody a very happy Earth Day. Knock on wood. Still have an Earth. And of course, before I jump into the interview, I do want to also take a few moments to provide a big thank you to those out there who are putting their lives on the line to keep us safe and to keep us fed and supplied. So a big thank you to all the doctors and nurses, EMTs, firefighters, police officers, truck drivers, gas station attendants, people working in grocery stores and big box stores, and those working in fast food restaurants that are still delivering or giving us pickup. That goes for other restaurants as well. So all those folks out there, thank you so much for going the extra mile and really jeopardizing yourselves to keep the rest of us chugging along as best we can. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Kabuki Kid says, the earth is trying to shake us off. That is a discussion that I have been having with a few people, and that's been a discussion been going on for about a month. So yes, you don't mess with Mother Nature, right? Kind of how I look at it a little bit. All right, so without further ado, I had the opportunity to kick back and talk with my pal, Stephen Buonocore, earlier this afternoon. I'm going to share that interview with you right now as we talk about pretty much all things Stronghold Games. My good pal, Stephen Buonocore, the podfather himself from Stronghold Games, is joining me today to chat a little bit about what's new, what's on the horizon over at Stronghold, and just check and make sure that everything's okay. So, Stephen, good to see you, my pal.
We're doing good at the Stronghold. Doing really good. I'm in my Florida shirt here, but it's still Stronghold red, and I got my shades on because we're doing this at the middle of the afternoon here. So
that's right.
I better take these off so I can't read the screen.
Hey, you've got better weather in Florida than we've got in Illinois right now. It is we're still waiting for spring to show up. I don't know what's going on.
It's beautiful here. Beautiful weather here. Like 85 degrees has been every day. Absolutely gorgeous.
So everybody staying safe, staying healthy. Everything's all good.
Yes, I mean it's listen, everybody's under a lot of stress right now, but thank God health is good for everybody here. My family is fine. My biggest selfish kind of regret is that I'm not on the road. I mean, I've already canceled five trips, and by the time this is all over, it's a guarantee it'll be over 10 total trips canceled to go to conventions, to see fans, to see friends, to see industry people like you, the media, everything. And it's a shame because we're missing a lot of good time, spending time publicizing the company, but just good fun times that we have when we're at conventions together.
Of
so
course.
That's the sad part. It's a little selfish saying that because a lot of people are much more worse off. But that's the part that I miss that I can't do. Otherwise, everything's good as far as health and business and everything.
I have to say, it is unusual to see both yourself and my pal Julie Ahern from Greenbrier Games not anywhere on their social media. They're all at home. So it's kind of like, wow, I'm so used to seeing Stephen and Julie out all over the place. And it's sort of like, yeah, here we are at home.
Julie is wonderful, first of all, and she's a machine. She is constantly on the road. She's constantly everywhere. So yeah, I mean, all of us. Dan DiLorenzo from R&R Games. I mean, he goes to more shows, I think, than anybody in the industry.
Wow.
And he's sitting at home too. So yeah, I mean, we're all just like trying to, we're doing work, we're doing our jobs here, but at the same point, really, what we want to do is see everybody. Socialize with everybody, show them the latest games and things like that. So,
of course,
but we'll get there. We will get there. So
it'll happen.
Absolutely, will happen.
So, talking about playing new games, what was cooking with Stronghold as of late? What are some of the most current releases that people can keep an eye out for?
Well, the stuff that was released sort of like right before everything hit is obviously out and you can get it. I mean, the biggest stuff that we had was like Fast Sloths, the Freedom and Freeze game, where you are playing a sloth, but you're lazy. You can't really be bothered moving around to get all those juicy leaves. So all the other animals will pick you up and deliver you. It's a pick me up and deliver me game.
I remember that.
And a racing game. It came out like in pre-release sort of at Essen, but our official release was right at the end of January. And then that was sort of our big thing that hit right then. And then after that, almost everything started shutting down. So we've got a lot of other releases that are delayed. We also had Luna Nova. That has just been released. Nova Luna. Always say it the wrong way. Nova Luna just released, and that's another puzzly game from the great mind of Uwe Rosenberg. So those games came out right before kind of the shutdown, but now USA, most of the world distribution is shut down. So all new releases are stopped. We have a flip and write game in our like roll and write flip and write series called Ripple Rush that's been delayed now. Is supposed to come out first week in April. Now it's postponed indefinitely until the system opens itself up again. That's our 7th game in the whole roll and write series. And then we have another one, an 8th one that's going to be out there too. That's was going to be like a midsummer release. Hopefully we were going to have it there at Gen Con and do a big release for that. And that's called Divi Dice, which is Gonen Conan in Germany by Schmidt-Spiele. They're one of our partners. And
that just rolled off your tongue. I am so impressed.
Conan. Yeah. My German not very good. Ein Bier, zwei Bier. That's the extent of my German. So we have the pipeline there. We're just waiting for things to open themselves up. We can get out to the convention, start promoting the games, and distribution will start being able to ship games. So we're getting there, but we have other things in the works, things that are going to happen like right now, including a couple of great Kickstarters that are right on the horizon. So I know one of them. I was going to say I know one of them you can talk about because it's going to be next week, right? Yeah. So it should be either this weekend, but most likely Tuesday the 28th, I believe, of April. And that is Tribune. So this is a very interesting game. By the way, it's with our strategic partner, Spielworks. And Uli Blenneman is an absolute genius over there. He knows everybody in the industry, and he picks up the greatest games. Last year, we kickstarted Die Macher with him, which is the first game ever entered into the Board Game Geek database.
Isn't that a political game, if I remember right?
It is a game about the German political system, which is so like weirdly esoteric, like so bizarre to like be thinking of like, why would I play a game about the German political system? But it's very applicable across any political system, really. And it's just a great heavy Euro game that had this great cred for years and years and years. Came out like in the late 90s, I believe it was. Obviously went out of print. Someone else picked it up, went out of print. And now we picked it up, or Spielworks picked it up. It's by Karl-Heinz Schmiel. He goes by the name of Calais. And Spielworks decided to do a series of 3 games with Calais. Okay. Yeah. So Die Macher was the first. We did that last year. This year, we're doing Tribune with the expansion. The game's been out of print for approximately 10 years. And here's the really interesting thing about Tribune.
It's an ancient Roman game?
You got it. It is an ancient Roman game.
Figured it had to be with that title.
Worker placement, set collection. You've got objectives that you're trying to do to earn victory points. None of that sounds like outside of it's in everyone's wheelhouse in the way those Euro games work. But the real interesting cred on this game is that this was a fantasy flight game from 2007, and the expansion came out in 2008. It was a Euro game. So like they're not known to put out any Euro games at all. They tried to do this. It went in. They did well. It became they decided that it wasn't the direction they wanted to go, so they only, I think, made the one printing, and that was it. And so it's become like a minor grail game for many people. People who love this game absolutely love it. So we're bringing it back again with that same designer I mentioned, Calais, or Karl-Heinz Schmiel, and we're going to be kickstarting it in a limited edition, the same way we did the first Spielworks game, Die Macher, with them. It's going to be a 14-day Kickstarter, I think, 14. Okay. Just that's going to be it. And then the game it's not even going to go to retail. You've got to get it there. We'll have, a few extra copies, obviously, to sell via conventions, website sale. We normally give BGG some copies of the game to sell as well. We support them through that kind of mechanism. So
Tom will be banging on your back door to pick up his copy. We know.
Yeah, well, it's not. I wouldn't even say it's a Tom style game because it's not. I don't. I'm sure he'll want a copy of it because of its credibility too. But it was interesting that this.
Well, I'm
this
just joking. He lives next door to you, so he's always
hour and a half away.
Right.
I need a border between the two of us. There's none of this moving next door to Vassal. No way. I was going to build a
sugar. Bam, bam, bam.
I was going to build a motor on my house to make sure he couldn't get here. But anyway, so we're really excited about this release. All upgraded, refreshed artwork, integrated the expansion with the base game, which is cool. The expansion was impossible to find once that went out of print. So that's going to be really cool. Look for that on Kickstarter on April 28th, give or take, for about 2 weeks. So probably approximately a week after the show airs.
Okay.
And if you don't mind, I'll mention another Kickstarter.
Oh, I mind all right.
It's going to be happening in August, most likely, and it's also with our partner Spielworks. And it's part of what they're calling, again, look at this. There's another one of these things is another trilogy of games. Mm-hmm. This one is specifically the Cajun trilogy. The first one they did, and we did not do this game with them at the time, was called Captains of the Gulf. And it was a sort of a pickup. You had to go. You were going in with fishing boats into the Gulf of Mexico, and you were picking up various types of fish and then bringing them back on land, and you were scoring points
for Bubba Gum Shrimp, right? For
Bubba Gum Shrimp Co. I think there was some kind of reference to that, some kind of shrimp company reference to that on the board. So that's Captains of the Gulf. They did that 2 years ago, I'd like to say, that we were not part of that one. So now we're going to be doing the second game in the trilogy with them on Kickstarter. It's called Crescent City Cargo, of course, by the same designer, Jason Dinger. And at the same time as we kickstart that, there's going to be a pledge level to get Captains of the Gulf, the first one, because a lot of people. So Spielworks has got a very interesting model. Before they started doing these Kickstarters with us, they used to do 1,000 games, period. Limited edition, 1,000 games. That's why we're kind of on the same thing with doing these limited editions on the Kickstarter with them. Sure. They used to do 1,000 games, sell 600 direct, and then 600 to 700 direct, and the other 300 they would sell to like one retailer, Board Game Geek or Cool Stuff sometimes, or Fun Again, and they would get them, and then be the sole until then. Once those games are out, they were gone unless another publisher would pick up the game and do a second edition. So we did that, for instance, for La Granja when that came out about 4 or 5 years ago. That was a second edition of that game that they had done with that model. The new model that they're doing is that they're doing the same thing, but when they do a Kickstarter, they'll do them with us, and then we'll do a little bit more than 1,000 because the Kickstarter will normally do 2,000 or 3,000. Hopefully, it does a nice number, but it's still a limited edition. And we will help them do the worldwide fulfillment because Spielworks is a one-person company out in Germany. I mentioned his name, Uli Blennemann, who is a genius in picking great games in the game industry. So we're really excited about that one as well. And that's going to be an August timeframe Kickstarter.
And of course, those folks who are catching this interview already know that I'll have the news up over on the Gaming Gang website all about these. So anything else that's on the horizon you want to talk about? Any other titles? I know things are really weird right now because of the pandemic. So all these different steps in the supply chain are broken down. So
exactly. So the rest of the releases are frozen. As I kind of mentioned, Ripple Rush is frozen, and there are several other ones we haven't really announced yet, so they're frozen. I will hint for your listeners, I'll give you a hint, that coming up in May, there will be an earth-shatteringly big Kickstarter by Stronghold Games. Earth-shatteringly big. And I will not mention anything else about that.
I'm not going to twist your arm.
I can't tell you. Even if you twisted it, I would have to cry. I can't.
But I have to point out, Stephen, with things as bad as they are right now, do we really want to shatter the Earth? I mean, do we?
Maybe we'll
Can we handle that?
Maybe we'll shatter another planet.
There you go. It's Pluto shattering. Because Pluto's not a planet anymore. We'll just shatter Pluto.
Anyway, that's a biggie, and we're gonna finish this Kickstarter for Tribune and expansion first. Once that's over, we're gonna be launching the other one, and it's gonna be a biggie. So watch out for that one in early mid-May. That's all I got to say.
So I've got one last question for you.
Okay, one last,
and that would be, unless you've got other things you want to share, but
I'm good. No matter what you want to talk about, I'm good. I'm here for you, my man.
Well, I could use a few bucks now. So what is there that I can personally do to help out Stronghold Games? Because I have a sinking suspicion that we will not see any conventions this year.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, that is selfishly, I am so sad that that's the case. So I mean, keep playing games. I mean, I just say that to everybody. It's not. There will this on the business side, and so this is very. Let's be sober for a second. You
were just breaking up, Stephen, so nobody heard what you said.
Oh, let me try that again. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
All right.
It was the Skype thing. Just kind of broke up a little bit.
All right. Let me state that again. So, yeah, what you can do for Stronghold, I mean, just keep playing games. And from a really sober perspective, there will be business fallout from, what is happening now in the game industry.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about restaurants never coming back. Heck. So let's talk about the game industry. There's going to be plenty of retailers that we'll never see reopen their doors.
Right.
That's very sad. Who sells to retailers? Distributors. We're going to see major changes in the U.S. distribution system this year.
Right.
Major distributors will probably go under. This is sad.
You also have Asmodee now jumping deeper into the distribution angle of things as well.
Exactly, which is unrelated to COVID-19, but absolutely will play into this. And then at our level, at the publisher level, I am relatively certain we're going to see some publishers go out of business, sadly, this year because of this.
Right.
Stronghold Games and Indie Game Studios, the overarching company with IBC, with Indie Boards and Cards, will not be one of those. We're going to weather this fine. We've got great capitalization. We are working through all of our projects anyway. Sure, we'll see sales dip. Everybody will. But in the end, we're not going to be in a bad place. Sadly, there'll be publishers that will. Gamers are always there, and they're always going to want games. So all I ask, keep playing great games. Check out Stronghold Games and Indie Boards and Cards when you're looking for your next game. And in the very near future, look for the Kickstarter for Tribune and its expansion, a Grail game that has been out of print for a while, and then our major Kickstarter for maybe one of your favorite games that may be coming somewhere in the middle of May. And that's it.
Shattering information on the horizon.
That's it. That's exactly right. And if I may plug a little bit more about Stronghold and about my own podcast. First of all, my podcast is Board Games Insider. Ignacy Chevicek, the president of Portal Games, and myself, president of Stronghold Games, we get together every week and we talk about the industry. We talk about what's happening in the companies.
Sure.
We talk about the news of the industry, and we take questions from our Board Game Geek Guild. So that's every week. It's called Board Games Insider. You can check that out. If you want to continue following Stronghold Games, strongholdgames.com is the website. At Stronghold Games on Twitter and Instagram. I'm very interactive on Twitter, so you can be talking directly to me most of the times. And I've been posting lots of stuff on YouTube. Hey, and how about Happy Hour at the Stronghold I've been doing twice a week?
I was going to mention.
Thank you. So that's just something that I decided to do to keep people engaged just together because of what's happening right now. It's so hard to be alone and isolated and not at conventions. You said you might try to join at some point, and we've been having 20 to 50 people come on every one of these sessions. We're doing it twice a week, Thursday 7 p.m. Eastern and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. You can find the link If you're a friend of mine or a friend of a friend, you should be able to find the link on Facebook. Otherwise, send an email to info@strongholdgames.com, and I'll send you the link that we've been using. I can't just scream it out here. It's one of those crazy long Zoom links. And all we do for 40 minutes is talk positivity. How is everybody doing? We have a quick toast to everyone's health. So how are people getting on? I do a little bit of comedy about the toilet paper report in South Florida, which is really bad, and things like that. And we just have fun together for about 45 minutes twice a week. So it's been a good time.
I haven't made it because, for one, on Thursday, it's right before I do the live show. And then on Sundays, I have been remotely running a role-playing game for Elliot Miller and my nephew and his girlfriend. So, yeah, I will show up. One of these days I will poke my head in, and then, of course, everybody will be like, oh, banned.
We'll throw you right out.
Kicked from the room.
So yeah, we're going to be doing this until we're all released from captivity here. So just keeping it positive, just trying to talk people through. People love to talk about the shows they've been watching.
Sure.
People like to talk about new hobbies that they picked up. Like I've been cooking. Me cooking? I could have boiled water in my life, and now all of a sudden I've been cooking and things like that.
That's right. You were making masticholi and gravy. Oh no! Macaroni and gravy.
I made the Sunday gravy, which is the way we used to talk about it back in Queens. Basically a rich meat sauce, a rich Italian meat sauce.
Of course, right. It's what non-Italians would call spaghetti sauce.
Yes.
It's always referred to as gravy. I'm from Chicago. Come on, I have plenty of Italian friends.
There you go. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yeah. Any last words you want to share with the viewers?
No, I think we're good. Thank you so much for having me on, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for taking time out to chat once again, Stephen. You take care. Be safe.
Everybody, you be safe out there. See you later.
All right, so big thank you to my pal, Stephen Buonocore, for spending a little time with me this afternoon, chatting it up about what's cooking over at Stronghold Games. So we've also been kind of carrying on and chat a little bit. And I was going to pick up on a few things that Stephen was talking about, especially when he was talking about the financial side of the industry. And I was going to mention it in the interview, and then I thought, well, you know what? I'll hold off. But the thing is that even before this pandemic, there were companies that I had talked to at both Origins as well as Gen Con who were, I'm pals with the people who run the companies, and they were telling me off the record that things were pretty bleak, that they were having a hard time, with the cult of the new, because they would have releases, they would have a hard time getting shelf space in stores, and if they did get some shelf space, then suddenly, the latest hotness comes out, and there they go, they're gone again. So Steven's right on the money. We are going to see a fallout, a big-time fallout from COVID-19 when it comes to tabletop gaming. Now, I would say the role-playing game side of things, probably not so much, because there's so much PDF and digital files involved with that. Whereas the actual board games themselves, yeah, unfortunately, I think there are going to be some companies that fall by the wayside. And as Stephen pointed out, we will see some retailers as well. Not cool. Definitely not cool, but that is going to be life following COVID-19. But yes, as Kabuki Kid was talking about, that this is, even in bad times, bad economic times as well, board games, tabletop games do pretty well. And I have always been a big proponent to talk about, compare going to the movies with a family of 4 and purchasing a board game. And even if that board game is $60, you're still looking at that board game is going to provide so much entertainment for the $60 compared to a family of 4 You go to a theater, you're not going during the, early bird specials. Get some popcorn, some sodas, some candy. That's $60 right there as well. And odds on, movie's probably not all that great. So just think of it that way. Because I know a lot of people will sit there and email me or message me and they'll say, oh my God, I can't believe this game is this much, or I can't believe this game is that much. And there are some times where I even publicly say this. You've seen this in my reviews. I think this is maybe like $10 more or $15 more than I think it should be, things like that. But still, tabletop gaming is a fantastic value, however you cut it. Let's see what's cooking here. And in chat, so there was some discussion of cooking because, of course, Stephen was talking about his gravy. He had mentioned that on Facebook. I'm friends with him on Facebook. That's why I knew he was making the macaroni and gravy. I laughed because people were like, "What? What? What?" So, the Madman points out that he uses the movie comparison all the time. Of course. All right, so that is pretty much it for tonight's show. Yeah, pretty quick show tonight. Tomorrow, probably be a bit longer because I am going to page through and review City of Brass, which is from Frog God Games. This is for Swords and Wizardry. As you can see, pretty hefty. The Madman's talking about, if I go to the movie, I have to have popcorn. To be honest, I don't really go to the theater all that much anymore. I'll go see like the big movies, like I'll go see, like the Avengers, the Marvel movies. But for other stuff, I don't know. I just wait. I just wait till it comes out. So anyway, that's it for this time out. I do want to thank those of you out there who are hanging out in chat. Always appreciate that. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you do, don't forget, ring the bell, because it will notify you not only of when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also tell you when my standalone videos pop up, which I've got my fingers crossed that Call of Cthulhu video will be done rendering tonight, because it's about 3 hours long. So anyway, and of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Anyway, as I mentioned, everybody who's watching live, thank you very much. Everybody have a great Earth Day. And of course, I will be back tomorrow. And for those of you who do not watch live, somebody had commented, they said that the show airs at like 2 a.m. their time, wherever they happen to be. Hey, if you watch this on Memorex, I still definitely really appreciate that. So everybody, as I said, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night / Thursday morning. I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, until then, be smart and stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for